Hello, everybody. Welcome to the You Don't Know Shit podcast with me and my Da here. This is the podcast where we talk about shit that you guys didn't ask for. First off, we are both Bucks and Chicago Bear fans, and we are big fans of the team. And my dad has not been happy recently about what the Bucks, what's called the choices, not hiring Nick Nurse and getting Adrian Griffin instead, and also going with re-signing Chris Middleton probably to a different contract. What are your thoughts on that?
I just feel that they need to change things up a little bit more than what they've done. I mean, they haven't really brought anybody in. They haven't really changed anything up except for the head coach. And I don't really feel that they're going to be able to go on to the championship without adding people besides the people that they've added so far.
I mean, realistically, they still have a really good shot. Besides, with besides any other team, we're not going to be like the Brooklyn Nets, where realistically only have one decent player, like Mikal Bridges. We still have Giannis, we still have Holiday, Chris Middleton. Love it or hate him, you fucking hate him. He's still going to be decent. He's going to be better than like 80%, 90% of the league.
I don't know about that because everybody on there is getting older, including him, and he really didn't play good in the playoffs. So I don't really feel that trying to get there with somebody new as the head coach is going to be something that they're going to be able to do. They need to put in some other people besides what they have. I mean, they need people that don't step out of bounds when they shoot threes. People that step up when they're in the playoffs because it feels like that all of the regular players, uh, Connaughton, Grayson Allen, even uh, Javi Portis, when they get to the playoffs, feels like they feel like they can just play the way that they've been playing. They don't try
They don't
to
need to switch it
change
up.
the. Go ahead.
I said it. I'm saying, still agreeing with you. Like they don't need to switch it up, and they feel like they can just play
Yeah, they
through
don't.
Giannis.
They just feel like they can go out there and just play the way that they've been playing, and not. It's playoff basketball. It's not the same as the regular season. I think that's why. I think that's why Budenholzer got released was because they saw that when he gets to the playoffs, he just keeps going the same way that he goes during the regular season. The playoffs are not that way.
Yeah, and with this team, they're super built for the regular season. What's called they succeed so much in regular season with their game plan, which is very unpredictable. Which when you're playing during normal games, when you're not playing to them in a 7 game series. But then when it only takes 2 games for them to really figure us out, and then after they do that, all the other players shut down. Especially with last year with Giannis getting injured really quick, I think that also sucked the life out of the team a lot too because he was, top three what's called player in the league, arguably top two if you're not counting Joel Embiid.
Right?
And when they lost him, they kind of just went, the whole game plan went out the window because the whole game plan was to play through Giannis and to play through Lopez. And then when they only had Lopez, which could only do, Lopez can only do 10% of the stuff that Giannis does, it takes away the entire game plan from him. And obviously,
True.
and obviously,
If the others
go ahead.
go ahead,
No, you go ahead.
no, go ahead. So if the smaller players, like I said, if they don't step up when he gets hurt, I mean, they're going to lose. They're going to get knocked out. So it doesn't matter what they do in the regular season because when they get the playoff to the playoffs and somebody does get hurt and those other smaller people who do play well during the regular season, they need to step up. And if they can't do it, they got to find players that are going to be able to.
Yeah, and what's called and now with what's called the draft being over, who do you think the Bucks are going to look for? What's called to pick up to go with that team, or who do you think might be
I
traded over the
mean,
offseason?
if they could if they could pick up the recently released Obamba, I would think he'd be a good backup for Brook Lopez, and Brook Lopez would also be able to show him some of the things that he's learned. So if something happens to him, at least I have somebody to mentor him and show him how to go further than he has so far.
It'll be a good fit for the what's called for the Bucks. And what do you think about what's called Marjan Beauchamp? Do you think he's going to do anything this year, or do you think
It
Adrian is going to restrict him?
feels like he should be able to step up. I was actually listening listening to some local um, Milwaukee people,
Yeah.
and they said that Giannis's first year that he only averaged 6.8 points a game. So I don't know what Marjan got, but apparently uh, Javon Javon Carter has now opted out of his contract. So if he leaves, I mean, there's going to be ample playing, going to be ample playing time to get him in there. And when they switched the head, when they switched the head coach, then all other favorite players are now back in the pool with everybody else, so the new person can see what he thinks of them,
It will
and
just
the
be
rotations that he's going to run are not going to be the same as the rotations before. So
okay. And I know your opinion already on Adrian Griffin. I know you didn't like the pickup to begin with because we're already an aging core and we need to act fast to win a championship.
yep,
And obviously, you're not a big fan of it because this is Adrian Griffin's first, real head coaching job in the NBA. So I was willing to let you see what your thoughts on that for this podcast.
I think that we have to wait, and we have to just wait and see because we not he hasn't ever had this. He's never had this position before, so I can't really speculate that he's going to be great. He's never done it before, and if you've never done it before, like there's not been very many people. I mean, I think we said that Nick Nurse went to the playoffs in second year.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was a.
Nick Nurse
I
eventually.
mean, he's got the horses to do it as long as they don't get hurt.
At least I have a different game
And
plan.
I don't feel like that he's going to necessarily that putting him in there is going to necessarily hurt them unless they decide that he's not the coach that they need, and then they're going to have this whole year of another year on all of those main players when you're not sure if he can pull it off or not.
Yeah, so what I'm getting at is that Adrian Griffin really needs to succeed this year, or he's gonna be out of a job, and the Bucks are not gonna win a championship for the next like 5-6 years, give or take, until they have to rebuild his core because it's like the last. This is the last real year. These are the last 2 real years for the Bucks to contend and have a chance at a championship. While what's called, but if you waste it on a coach that's not going to be here, it's going to be way harder in the second year to actually go forward with that and actually win a championship.
Right, and they're also like the way that they've the way that they've approached this off season. I feel like they're in limbo, that they're waiting for something to happen. Like
Waiting for
they
a
did
player to
that,
opt out.
and I don't know if they're waiting. I don't know. It feels like they're waiting. They're like sitting back and not going out like the Celtics did with picking up with basically picking up Porzingis for Marcus Smart and then they also got draft picks back for them. So they not only they they not only picked up a potential all-star player for a bench player, they also picked up draft picks also. So I don't understand why we're not doing it. I don't understand why they feel like they can just go along, we'll be fine when everybody else is trying to improve.
Yeah, and
Doesn't feel like we're trying to improve.
also with the off season, it officially starts on July 1st, which is where free agency can happen and where people can start trying to look up the pickup players.
Okay.
So right now, I think in the running that could be a good candidate for the Bucks is obviously Mo Bamba and a couple other players who are opting out that I can't think of the top of my head. This is why I need notes for what's called for this for these conversations.
Right.
But I think we should definitely look at getting a good backup to Chris Middleton, because besides Chris Middleton, there's no other person who can really play small forward, because Pat's pretty washed, and Javon Carter is he may not even be here next season if he wants to opt out and then go to a different team. He's still pretty young. Last time I checked, he's like 28 or something like that. 28, 27.
I think if the, yeah, who's this?
Javon Carter.
Yeah, I don't think. But yeah, I mean, Arjan, just as long as he puts in the work, I feel like that he'll give him every opportunity to step up and play. I don't know who's going to be on the Hummer League roster for them, but
Yeah, we only drafted like one player, like at spot 58, right?
yeah, which was okay. I mean, they weren't going to pick up anybody, so at least they picked up, somebody. That was good.
I feel like the Bucks should have made a better effort and try to get some draft picks than just not letting everything by. This is a talented class.
If you, I don't know if you know anything about the pick that they picked up, but I
I don't
think
really know much.
he's from the oh, Wildcat, and I think that he was supposed to go a lot higher. His name is Chris Livingston,
Chris Livingston.
and he's a small forward, so we need Chris Middleton and Chris. He's also he's a 6 foot. He's a 6'6", 220 pounds. He only averaged 6.3 points and 4.2 rebounds a game.
Yeah.
But that was his first year. That was freshman year. So averaging 6.3 and 4 rebounds in your first freshman year
Yeah, that's not bad.
for the Kentucky Wildcats, which is basically comparable to an NBA team. I mean, they're organized the same.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They're so he's not going to get play. He's not going to get maximum playing time in his freshman.
Okay. And
I
also
don't know what you.
I just got an alert that there is rumors about the Lakers being interested in Brook Lopez, and that they might pursue him. Which I don't know how foolproof it is, because it didn't come from Woj or Shams, so I can't confirm it. But if that is true,
People.
who do you want from the Lakers?
We could always bring back uh, Christian Wood. He's actually rated one of Paul Lopez in the free agents. Also,
Oh, really?
it looks like uh, Kyle. It looks like Kyle Kuzma is going to be leaving Washington. He's a free agent
Oh,
too.
really?
So we go after Kuzma. Um, we've also got a possibility at Jacob Odell. I don't know if you remember him. He was playing with San with the San Antonio Spurs, and now he got traded to the Raptors.
No,
And
yeah.
he's a free agent. He's a 7'1" uh, hunter.
Yeah, but can he play though?
Yeah, last year, yeah, he played. He was on High Hennessy.
Oh.
Um, yeah, I'll give you his stats for last year. Hold on. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing them. Uh, if something happens with Lopez, we got to try to get younger in position that get hurt.
Because Brooke Lopez, he was an Ironman
Brooks
last
hurt a
season.
lot.
So yeah, but he
Yeah,
was
but
pretty
he
much
gets hurt a lot.
he was only gone like 16 games last season. So obviously that's pretty in what's called unregular for Lopez. But when he does play, he is Defensive Player of the Year. He honestly kind of got robbed because Jaren Jackson Jr. should never won that. Because I think at that point they're just basing off of like can't think of it. They were basing it off of. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, like.
So in the last 3 years, Jacob Podol that I'm talking about, he averaged 13.5, 12.1, and 13.1, and then he averaged 9.3 rebounds, 9.0, and 9.1 rebounds. He averaged about 28 minutes per game. He had 13 points. He averaged about 13 points and 9 rebounds.
Okay. Yeah, that would be a bad pickup.
That's not bad.
All right, let's see if we can try to switch the conversation from basketball now. See if we can go into football. So now with football, it's what's called preseason is only a short what's called 2 months away, and starts at mid-August. What do you want to see from the Bears this year, and what do you think they should start with improvements?
I think that from everything that I've been hearing coming from the OTAs, that their offensive line is going to be amazingly improved.
Oh, totally. There's no way to win.
They said that I don't know who they were talking to. They were talking to one of the guys that they picked up that wasn't the rookie.
Was it one of the Tremaine Edmonds?
He was a free agent.
Oh yeah, Tremaine Edmonds.
I believe it was.
It was Tremaine Edmonds or EJ, or TJ Edwards.
I don't know, but whoever they were having a conversation with, he said that all of the brand new guys coming in, that they all work together, they all come in early, they all stay after practice, and they all hang out like the old Chicago Bears teams did in the 80s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't really hear about professional sports teams all hanging out anymore. It seems like they all come in, they work out, they go to their meeting, they go to practice, and they all leave. They all leave and they go their separate ways.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool that he said that they're all hanging out and they're all.
Yeah, when they when DJ Moore got to Chicago after that big blockbuster trade, they actually they bring him Justin Fields brought him, and like Darnell Mooney and someone else is there. I think Montgomery was still there when they got him, but they all went to a Chicago Bulls game, and they all got like they all got tickets, and they did jersey swaps to players afterwards. There's a picture somewhere of that, but it was actually pretty cool for that to happen. And they've been doing that a lot. Like Justin Fields has been super inviting, and also along with Justin Fields and DJ Moore, that connection has been apparently insane from OTAs. With Fields always really finding Moore, and that connection really being there. That has really been there with any wide receiver besides Darnell Mooney.
And I don't really think that they're going to lose anything with Khalil Herbert.
No.
Stepping up as a number one.
We also picked up Deontay Foreman too in the offseason too, which is a really solid, second or third option.
It's good. Very
good. I don't think we're gonna miss anything from there. And then also, I think we're finally rounding it out with wide receiver core, because it's looking to be DJ Moore, Chase Claypool at 2, Darnell Mooney at 3. And they're gonna have Boston Scott, I believe, at the 4. Another wide receiver they picked up in the draft. Wait, do you know who Boston Scott is?
Who?
Do you know who Boston Scott is?
No.
All you need to know, he ran a 4.4 in Cincinnati, and it was part of that team that almost went to the what's called championship. Like I believe 2 years ago,
Yeah.
it was part of that squad. It was what's called. It wasn't Scott, or maybe it was the. Or maybe they just got like lost to the Horned Frogs. Maybe it was last year.
Yeah.
It was one of those squads, but he played for Cincinnati. It was pretty nutty.
I don't know if you've heard this, and I just want to. I want to go back to the NBA,
Yeah.
but Woj, he reported earlier today that James Harden has opted into a $35.6 million
And he's looking for a trade.
contract, and that is so the 76ers can trade him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not going to be there next year.
Who do you think is going to land to?
That means that they basically traded away the problem over to the Nets for another problem, which would be Harden, and now they're going to trade Harden away. So
now
I
you're
don't know,
looking for a trade to get rid of him.
I don't really feel like they're going to go anywhere in the playoffs just because they don't know. They don't know. They really. Oh,
Do you think the Nets are kind of what's all? I mean, the Philadelphia 76ers, they're not really fucked because they do still have what's called a top 3 player, and
Yeah,
they
but
still have a pretty young court. So if they can get a good trade for the for Harden, I feel like it's gonna be a really good solution for the 76ers, and that's gonna keep on passing James Harden down. I heard
I feel like they're just moving him for out of cap. I don't really feel like they're trying to find somebody to go along with.
And they're saying that they're what's called Chris B. Haynes, which is I'm pretty sure a pretty reliable person for an NBA insider, said that the Houston Rockets are emerging as a strong landing spot for Kyle Kuzma too. So the whole Kyle Kuzma talk to Milwaukee might be just shot down.
We'll have to see what happens. I mean, people say things until the free agent opens.
That's true.
You never know what's going to happen. People talk a lot. They don't really know things. Like I said, they don't. Oh shit.
Yeah, that's true. Just like the podcast.
Right.
And
So the only thing we're gonna do is find out. We'll find out starting Saturday what everybody's really thinking of, because if you don't get on the free agents like right away, then you're not gonna get anybody. Stand by and say, oh, we're good with who we have.
Yeah. And I feel like now, for the Bucks, I want to say as mostly optimistic as possible, because it's not going to be an easy start to the season, and I know that. It's more about how we can end it and homework fish, because I can almost guarantee we're not going to be a first seed this year. Like that would be one hell of a turn if we're actually a first seed.
Well, if we have all our players. So this is an if, because we don't know. We don't know if they're going to be able to keep everybody. So if the players they keep, if they don't get hurt, I don't feel like we're not going to go into the playoffs in number 1 or the number spot. The problem is with having the new head coach. Not only does he not know how to coach yet, so we don't know if he does it or not. But when they get to the playoffs, like I said, you have to find a whole different gear. And if you go into the playoffs and you don't know what you're doing and anybody's hurt, then you're not going to be able to advance.
Yeah. So before we wrap this podcast up, in your opinion, what is the record for Chicago Bears going to be, and the record for the Milwaukee Bucks going to be this year?
So I feel like the Bears have a chance to go to get to the 10-win mark.
I say
they could win 10 wins.
I agree with that. I think the floor for the Bears are going to be 8-9. And the ceiling, if literally everything goes right and everybody is supposed to produce how they're supposed to produce and no one gets hurt, I think the ceiling is probably going to be 12-5. So somewhere around that 10-7, what's called range
high,
would work.
pretty high.
I know, but we already have
Pretty
all
high
the pieces we
ceiling.
need.
I'm gonna put the ceiling at 11.
11.
I'm gonna say realistically they're gonna win 9. I'd like to see them win 10,
Yeah.
and if they get to 11, to to go from where they were. I mean, what was their record last year?
They were the worst team in the league at 4-13.
So to go from 4 wins to 9 wins.
It's pretty extreme.
So anything over that would be really. And
Yeah.
as far as the Bucks go, if nobody gets hurt, I say they win 55.
55. Oh really? Damn.
But if they get hurt, I mean, they could be as low as a 500. They could be coming to where they're trying to struggle to get in.
I don't think they're gonna go that far. I agree.
Depending on who they keep, we don't know who's staying, who's going in.
That's true.
So once we have the final summation on who's staying, for sure who we got, then we should go back and probably look at this. I for sure don't think for sure they will be in the playoffs, barring some horrible injury. One of the main two players, but
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate you being here.
how about you?
I feel pretty good. Hopefully, this episode went pretty well and looks okay and sounds all right.
No, I mean, how about you as far as how
Oh,
many do you think that they're gonna win?
shit, my bad. I feel like they're gonna. I feel like I agree with your if you're ceiling with like 55 wins and no catastrophic injuries. But I don't think 50-50 or even a play is even an option. I feel like if so, we're gonna finish like the 6th seed or the 5th seed. So I'm gonna say around like maybe 48, 47 wins. I'm gonna say is even their bottom. Cause still, if Giannis doesn't get injured, it's just like the Warriors. Cause when Curry got injured in 2020 to 2021 season, it was 2019-2020. It was when the bubble happened. When the bubble happened, Curry got injured for the season. He was down in after week 2 of the season. And for the rest of the season, they finished before the bubble happened. They finished 15-50. And as soon as, and obviously the next season, they became a play-in team, and they lost there. But they were already up. I think it was 38. I think they were 38 for 43, I believe. On the verge of being 500, and when they put everything together in 21 to 2022 season, obviously when they won the championship, they were like a 50-win team again, because they had Curry again and everything was back to normal, because they also had Clay and stuff like that. So I don't know with the Bucks. I think the Bucks are gonna be a wild card to see. It's gonna be a boom or bust team once again. We haven't really been in this situation in a while. I feel like it's gonna be like the 2019 Lakers or 2018 and 2019 Lakers, where they just got LeBron and they think they're going to be this insane team, and then they absolutely fucking suck the first year, and obviously they won the championship the very next year. But it's going to be way different now because this core is way older, and it's got to merge together, and they got to work out with chemistry and stuff like that. But besides that, I feel like this is the end of our first podcast, basically the test podcast. This is number 0.
Right.
So then hopefully we can bring more content and make it make sense next time, instead of just saying stuff off the dome.
Okay.
But I appreciate you being here for the first test. This is episode 0 of the You Don't Know Shit podcast, and hopefully we'll be back later. Thank you so much for joining me, Dad.
All right. Yep. Later. Bye.
Later.